So imagine walking out of a facial treatment and noticing immediate radiance in your skin. No needles, no injections. Wait till you see the before and afters. Just topicals. No downtime, no redness, just flawless glow that everyone craves. I'll show you a bunch of before and afters today so you get a great idea of what this actually can do. Now let me detail these 3 steps that we talked about in case you want to try and do this at home. That's why these are turning the heads of skin experts and beauty lovers alike. And yes, they are global. In every country I travel to, I see similar devices to the ones we're talking about today. The HydraFacial, or more accurately, I call it the Aquafacial. And wait till I show you today. You're going to be absolutely shocked at the new level that these have been taken to. In a single device, you can now get what I see in a total room of devices in Korea. And I bet most of you don't even know that this exists today and is readily available for you to get this type of a result. It's a more generic term because there are many devices on the market that now work similarly to the HydraFacial. I'll show you before and afters coming up too, so you get an idea of the results that you can expect with something like this. The HydraFacial is a brand actually of one type of such device. Just like Skippy is a brand of peanut butter, so too is HydraFacial a brand. Some companies, however, have taken similar technologies and even stepped them up and added boosting type of treatments to them. So here you can see the before and the after over here. You can see an absolutely amazing result along that upper eye. You can see a lifting of the lateral part of the brow. I'll remove those markings so you can see. So how was this done? It was done using the Aquafacial plus 2 add-ons that I'll outline in this video. Number 1 was the microcurrent, okay? So that's where you put in electrical energy to help increase the tone of the muscles, and that gives you lift that you then see over here. And the second thing was added was Vibrox, and that's using the CO2 trickery to increase oxygenation. That increases blood flow, helps with antioxidant effect. Obviously, blood flow is a nutrition to the tissues, but also using red light, because that's part of that CO2 trickery. It included the CO2 infusion with the red light and vibration. A lot of people don't realize how important vibration is, but that's all included in that one head of the device that I'm going to outline more of as the video goes on. But here's the result that you can expect from that type of a treatment. I see many travelers getting these. Every time I'm on the plane and it lands, it seems the business women and more men are on their phone booking these type of appointments before they start their day. Also, I'd say the pre-event glow up people, meaning you could do this before a wedding. As a rule in this industry, we don't treat people within 3 months of a wedding. The simple rule, never mess with a bride-to-be. There's a ton of anxiety going on. Because they're getting pictures, if there's any downtime, bruising, whatever. A device and a treatment like this, though, you can do it the day of. Very safe, no downtime, and almost no skin reaction potential. Before we go on, let's look at this before and after. Here is another before and after picture. What I want you to look at here is look at some discoloration, look at pores in here, and overall, I'm going to remove the markings so you can see overall glow. And you just see a rejuvenated look. We talk about glass skin all the time, ad nauseum, but the idea more is clear skin. All these pores down there, no filler, no biostimulator, no injection is needed. This is all done by way of the new facials. I'll take these markings away so you can see. Another area in the T-zone up here, it looks so much clearer. You can check it out. And this is what a lot of people want. They don't necessarily want under eye filler. They don't need their nasal labial folds filled because look at the difference. That's pure light reflection. No filler was used over here. No biostimulators were used. And also look at the upper lip area. When you increase glow, yeah, that pigment is still there. You could IPL it. You could do a peel. That looks like melasma more so. But there's ways to get rid of that. Peel pads at home. You don't even need to go to your clinic for peel pads, but this gives you an idea. Now, this used the aquafacial, number one. Number two was the toning, and that was with the microcurrent. Number three was the RF part of the device, and then, of course, the CO2 infusion with red light, and it had vibration. Again, vibration, that's something in many of your at-home tools, it's inexpensive, that works extremely well. But this is something that most people will be happy with after a couple of these treatments. So let's talk about the exact procedure. The Hydra or Aquafacial is a base procedure, and it's a 3-step, highly mechanized skin treatment that deep cleans, number one, number two, exfoliates, and number three, ultra hydrates. All kind of in one step with one device in one fell swoop. It combines the soothing sensation of a spa facial, so there's no pain, needles, or anything like that, with the targeted power of clinical skin treatments. So in other words, you're going to see a result. And unlike traditional facials, this one uses a tool with a vortex-like wand. So it's whatever the handpiece is, they're different ones. It's like a little wand, and there's a vortex to clear out the pores, resurface the skin, and infuse the hydrating serums. And you get to specifically choose, sometimes is it a collagen serum or a vitamin C. Do you know what the number one serum that people choose in my clinic and around the world that I see? And it's one of those ingredients that people kind of dismiss, or a lot of people say they don't work, or a lot of I would say social media gurus, they kind of trump down on, and that is hyaluronic acid. And hyaluronic acid, people still pick it as a top ingredient with vitamin C because it works. It's an ultra hydrator, but you will see a lot of people disparage it. But what happened to traditional facials, and why is this taken over? Well, the traditional facials just don't always cut it. For some, they don't go deep enough. And for others, they're a little too invasive, so people are getting downtime and skin reactions, but not with the Aquafacial. It's that in-between treatment that is at the perfect juncture. And before we go on, let's look at another before and after. This is a nice picture just demonstrating that increased glow that you get. This was done with the Aquafacial and an add-on of the Vibrox technology and Ultra B. Ultra B is ultrasound used to increase the absorption into the skin. But walking in and walking out, and after several hours to a day with this after picture, it's worth it for so many. Now let me detail these 3 steps that we talked about in case you want to try and do this at home. And you can try and kind of mimic what you might get with a hydrofacial, because the cost of these, you'll see anywhere from $125 on a deal to $250 is pretty normal. Almost all of this stuff will end up in the coming years in your home. It's going that way, but still, to buy a machine like this, the minimum you're going to find, one that really works, is probably around, they go 30 to 50 grand for clinics, but you might find one for 10 or 15 grand from a foreign country shipped in if you really look. The problem with those type of devices is oftentimes they're not dependable, they break down, and you don't know what you're infusing, if the product is real, sterile or not. So most people still go, of course, to the clinic, but it will eventually come to your home. Number one, let's talk about the cleanse and exfoliate. The gentle vortex-like suction on the wand removes dirt, oil, and dead skin. It essentially is clearing out the debris that can clog the pores and that dulls the skin. The second step extracts and hydrates. So the same tool then switches to a stronger suction to extract any remaining impurities in the skin. Think of it like a mini vacuum. After this, a powerful hydrating serum, which is rich in antioxidants typically. Like I said, hyaluronic acid, they call them collagen, vitamin C. Usually there's multiple ingredients in there, and then that is applied. And that gives the skin its coveted kind of a dewy look, like that Korean glass skin look. And that would be, you don't have to go through a 10-step routine to get that Korean glass skin. This device in and of itself does give that. And especially because of number 3, the third step is the infusion. So a hydrating serum is infused deeply into the skin, and that not only gives the immediate radiance, but it helps retain the moisture that was added long after you've left the clinic, so for days. So how do some companies take this to the next level? One device, and I used this in my clinic just last week, it's from a company called Sinclair, and it's Prime. And they took this aquafacial and they added multiple things to it. Firstly, galvanics. Many of you have these at home. Number 2, RF. Many of you come into my clinic to get just RF, radio frequency energy, or you use RF energy at home with your home device. Number 3, the Premay has ultrasound infusion, which is amazing because it gets everything deeper. And number 4, CO2 microdermabrasion that has red light built in. So they added those 4 things. So when you're sitting in the chair and you get your aquafacial, you can do add-ons of any one or all of those 4 treatments. I'll link at the end a tour from a clinic I did in Korea. When you go over there in one room, they might have 10 different devices, and the patient comes for 3, 4, 5 hours to the clinic. It could be a day-long clinic. Patient comes and they get all of those devices done during the day. A device like Premay, a lot is in that one device, so it saves room, but also it's quick to add it on. So you're seeing hydrofacials getting taken to the next level, these aquafacials. So while you're in there, you just get these amazing add-ons. If you have the time and the money to add it on, you're sitting there anyway, why not? Let's first look at a before and after, and then I'll go on to show you exactly what device heads like this look like. For those who like the deep dives, remember, look in the chapters below if you want to skip through sections of the video. I know 70% of you like these deep dives, but some of you prefer the shorter version. You know, doc, just tell me what to get done and I'll go do it. On to the before and after. Here's another before and an after over here. And this one, an IPL, intense pulse light, was added to this. That's where you use broadband light. You filter it out for what we call a photofacial, you might hear. But this was combining an aquafacial and then the IPL. Why? Because there were brown spots over here in this area, brown spots down here, a bit of discoloration above the lip that were distracting. You can see a brown spot up here. And an aquafacial just not going to cut it. And you might have to do too many, so it's not as cost effective. I'll remove the markings and you can see. So when you add a procedure like a photofacial to this, think of an extra add-on of anywhere between $250 to $700, depending where you live. And now look at the clear skin over here. You get more light reflection. Look at over the nasolabial fold. Now, if you really want to be look at the whole face, or holistic in the sense that you want to rejuvenate the whole face with this, the light reflection here by the numbers is a little low. We would want it a little higher. And that's where a little bit of filler, Sculptra, biostimulators might be added. But you see, the point is so much more light reflection here. But a higher cheek would give you a better look overall. So that's why people then often get after hydrofacials might add something like filler or biostimulator, and you can also bring that cheek up high laterally here, which would help lift the jowl. A hydrofacial is not going to lift the jowl. It's for overall glow, brown spots, rejuvenation. And not everyone wants more than what this is offering. They're totally happy with this result. That's what we would call, what someone calls, when they come in, they go, I want to look natural but rejuvenated. That's the most natural look you can get. IPL plus one of these hydrofacials. But it's human nature. People want a little more elevation. They dip the toe into this, and then let's keep going. Okay, so you can see this would be like the original head for your aquafacial like I talked about. But look on the same device. What you're starting to see now with advanced devices like these, you get a collagen plus. Why is it called that? Because you have bipolar radio frequency. Look at the temperature. Perfectly. 39 to 42. We talk about that all the time. Now, again, on the same device, while you're sitting there, you might want what they call their micro T. That's microcurrent. You all know that, to help tone and lift by working on stimulating the actual muscles of the face. And then how about ultrasound? Ultrasound increases the absorption of all the hydrating products that are used with these devices. And it's the perfect 1 megahertz. The frequency is so important because we know, and there are studies using medicines, many of them now, that use ultrasound heads like these. Even lidocaine, we can increase the absorption if you use the right frequency here. We want to increase the absorption of our active skincare products in this case. Now, here's another head on this particular device. I want to draw your attention here, though. Look at this. CO2 microdermabrasion. It doesn't have the risks with the high suction sandblasting type, okay, that boom, 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 harmed some of the skin and pulled some vessels out. But what does CO2 do? It's trickery. It tricks the body into thinking you have the waste product of CO2, so it increases what? Oxygen. Increasing the oxygen level at the same time with vibration. And look here, LED. We love LED. You all know about that. So if you think of a product like this where you increase blood flow, you use vibration, and you use red light at the same time, that's pretty amazing. But that is called the Bohr effect. And this device takes advantage of that. A lot of this stuff, of course, I always talk about, it's done in Asia regularly. And this might be 5 devices, but in this case, it's 1. And that's what you're seeing come to the market. These work for pretty much all skin types. They're gentle and safe. Studies show that compared to treatments like microderm or chemical peels, hydrofacials are far less likely to cause any irritation. And unlike chemical peels, there's no post-treatment peeling or downtime. I can't tell you how many people come in to get a peel from me, and they're scheduled for it, they're booked for it, I'm ready to go, and they go, "Doc, I don't think I can do it. I'm going to see someone in 3-4 days. I don't want to be peeling." In this country, in North America, United States, Canada, people still want zero downtime, and they chicken out if they think anyone might think that they're getting their skin treated. It's a fear of doing something. Not so in other countries, but this kind of a device is key and classic for that type of a culture where people are worried because you don't get any of that. And especially the Prime, it adds all those aforementioned treatments like the ultrasound, the galvanics, and the RF while you're sitting there. Those all might have a tiny bit of redness, but they're so well tolerated. Now, here's something that might surprise you. In a small study of 20 women, aquafacial users saw a visible reduction in pore size, in hyperpigmentation, and fewer fine lines compared to those using serums alone. That means the treatment just doesn't feel good. It's actually working at the cellular level to bring about real change. Now, let me quickly compare the hydrofacial or aquafacial to a couple other popular skin treatments. Microdermabrasion, you all know, while both this and the aquafacial exfoliate, microdermabrasion uses tiny crystals, and it doesn't include any hydrations and serums, and we know how key those are. The other problem with a lot of the aggressive microdermabrasions is there's too much suction, and they can bring some veins to the surface, and you need IPLs to then clean them up. Well, what about compared to radiofrequency? Well, we know radiofrequency is built in to the Prime. However, radiofrequency compared to a pure just aquafacial, it targets skin firmness by heating the deeper tissues. But it's less about surface exfoliation and glow, and these RF treatments are more about skin tightening over time. That's why the combination device where you get your Hydra Aquafacial with RF is really the golden ticket. Now, what about dermal infusion as a last one? Many of you will ask, dermal infusion, that technology. Well, it often comes with a bit of redness versus the aquafacial. The aquafacial, generally, there's no redness at all. Dermal infusion sometimes does. Now, you have the ultrasound on some of these devices, like I talked about, that helps get the products in deeper, and you don't get the irritation with that. That's new age. So how often should you get one of these aquafacials? It depends on your skin and goals. Generally, for glowing skin, once a month is ideal, while some get bi-weekly treatments. It really depends on your goals and your budget. Hydrofacials, as I said, they're not cheap, so budget is an issue. Think about $250, I think, is on average for most countries that I go to. You'll now want to watch this video all about RF radio frequency treatments you can do at home to keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.